friends, welcome back to the channel. Today I've got you with me in our grocery store garden, and I've got my gardening gloves on. You can kind of see it's gotten a little out of hand in here, a little overweeded, and honestly it's time to go ahead and get these buckets taken down. I think that they've pretty well bore the last of the tomatoes and peppers that we're gonna get. Yesterday, I went ahead and tackled the weeding of this raised bed for the most part. Y'all should have seen it. I should have gotten that on video, or at least taken a before picture. Y'all, I sent a picture to Papa Bear when I was done, and I said, what do you know? There's actually potting soil and dirt underneath all these weeds. It'd been so long since we'd seen it. Our peppers didn't do that great this year, and we kind of just, not because of the weeds, they just never took off. Last year we grew our peppers in this same raised bed, and I mean, we had so many bell peppers and so many jalapeno peppers. So it's not a terrible thing that they didn't produce very well this year, because we still have a lot of frozen peppers from last year. But I went ahead and got all that weeded out. The chickens got a few big helpings of the weeds. The rest I've just kind of got over there on the sidewalk so that they die off. But it's funny, our tomatoes in the other garden over there have done so well all year. And this tomato plant right here specifically has had the same, I think I've harvested one red tomato off of this plant. And then the rest, it's just been green tomatoes all season. Not really sure why. I don't even remember what tomato variety is planted there. But you can kind of see in the tire here, I don't think Dirk planted anything, but these have started coming up. Beets again, or radishes, not beets. So I'll leave them there. Some of the rabbits enjoyed some of the leaves yesterday, and I'll end up leaving the asparagus as it is. I think Dirk will normally cut it down at the end of the season. Our banana pepper plant here, poor thing, it got started to get taken over by a volunteer gourd plant, more than likely. And our mint's out of control. I don't know, I may go ahead and just pull it all, since the different flavors of mint are, or the different varieties. I think last year we had spearmint, peppermint, and actually one that's like was a jalapeno, or that had a little bit of heat to it. But they're all mixed in together, and I don't think I'm going to be doing any harvesting or putting up of it this year. But yeah, what we've got here, folks, is just a good old mess. And I'm going to start taking some of these plants down and preparing for winter. I'm sure we'll plant some fall crops over here, probably some more lettuce. But I've got some time to kill before I have the store opened, and that's what I'm going to work on, and we'll see how far we get. Probably won't get it all done, but, you know, we'll see. So, I'm going to get just a couple more things real quick before I get digging into things, and I'll bring you right back. All right, we're going to just start here at this poor little tomato plant. And I've been needing to get over here in the grocery store for quite a while to work on some of this, but we use, oh goodness. I was about to brag on how easy these clips are to come unhooked. For our tomato and various plant maintenance, once they get tall, for us to clip them onto make them stable. That's what I'm trying to say. We use these little clips, these little plastic clips. Dirk gets them. I don't know if it's off eBay, Amazon. They work really well. Zip ties work great too. I use a lot of those. But what I think an issue that we had last year with the clips was just being out in the sun all summer, they would start to break. So I am going to save as many as I can that are still in good condition. Might as well. I mean, no sense in spending extra money when you don't need to. I think those might be the only two. Yeah, I just don't know why this one particular tomato plant never wanted to turn. The one year we had our tomatoes planted in this bed here that had the peppers in it this year and last year, whoa, those tomatoes, I mean, they took off. And this is right under the security light. I don't know if that was part of the reason, because they always had some kind of light on them, but they were huge. And we made the mistake, well, I made the mistake that year, because I'm a huge fan of cherry tomatoes, especially super sweet 100s. I made the mistake of planting 2 cherry tomatoes in this one raised bed on top of, I think, 5 other tomato plants we had. And when I tell you those cherry tomatoes took over the entire bed, I'm not exaggerating. Those things are very invasive, and that is why the cherry tomatoes in the big garden got their own little corner. I'll probably go ahead and take this pepper plant. I don't know, I might leave it another week and see if it does anything. It's got a couple small bell peppers on it. I actually harvested some this morning and used one of them for breakfast with our eggs. It's really tasty. And y'all, we just leave these buckets here over the winter. By next year, we'll have to add some more potting soil to it, but they just stay here. I don't mess with trying to get them moved out. And Dirk might have something in mind to plant in there as part of a winter fall crop. But go ahead and harvest these habanero peppers. Y'all can see this was another one that just took forever for the peppers to grow. And once it grew, I think we probably had, I don't know, 8, 9, 10 on here, habanero peppers, and it took, goodness, they were probably on here close to a full month before they even started to turn color. But I'm going to pull the green ones as well when we can our tomato juice. The green habaneros are really good to put a couple in the juicer to give just a little bit of heat to your tomato juice. And then as for the rest of these, I think Dirk's just wanting to freeze them so that we can use them throughout the winter. And one thing that I've been really bad about, which here recently, is just watering the grocery store. Since, I mean, our potatoes, we had harvested those, and, you know, strawberries have obviously been done for quite a while. And I just stopped watering. Alright, that'll probably be all I get. The rest are still pretty small. I thought this would be an adequate Tupperware size, but I was definitely wrong, and I still have banana peppers to pick yet. The ripe tomatoes over here will probably just go down to the chickens. I don't want to take the entire tomato plant itself down there. I'll probably take y'all down there when I give them a heaping of weeds or tomatoes or something, and get off me, mosquito. Here over the next couple of days, I think we're going to be digging into a couple of the big gardens too, getting them taken down, put to bed for the winter. It's crazy. How on earth is it halfway through September already, y'all? It's wild. The first half of the year seemed like it was going by pretty quickly, but boy, once like June, July hit, it's gone by pretty quickly. But I've pretty well harvested everything off that, so I'm gonna get that out of the bucket, toss it aside, and we'll move on to the next bucket. One thing, if y'all haven't seen some of our garden updates, we've mentioned it in a couple of them. Y'all, we have had mullein growing everywhere this year. Look at this. I just found another one starting to grow in this raised bed. I mean, we probably had 3 of them in our strawberry bed. In almost every single raised bed that we have, we had at least one growing. Over by the hose barn area, we had a couple big ones. And that's something that next year we really want to dive into, is learning the medicinal and health properties of that plant so that we can actually start harvesting it, putting it up, and putting it to use. But if y'all have any experience with it, if you do anything special with it, let me know in the comments. I don't really know much of anything about it except that it's supposed to have really good health benefits. And there was another volunteer gourd. Here in a couple of days, I think we're going to shoot a video of doing it where we go and harvest all of our volunteer plants. And I think that with the gourd plant next to the store alone, we'll probably get 25-30 gourds just off that one volunteer plant. So it'll be really interesting to see how many we can get overall. All right, those are done. I guess I'm indecisive, y'all, so I kind of just decided I'm going to work on this today before the store opens. That's not going to stay. And some of these have been on here for too long and have gotten kind of... But, and this tells you, I've really let that banana pepper hang out for longer than it should have. But this was our first year growing banana peppers. And I have 3 plants in this bucket, either 2 or 3. And we got a really good crop out of them. We would go a little while without any at all. And then it seems like I would come out here. I don't know if I would just forget about it for a few days or a week or so, but I'd come out here and there'd be 10 or 11 beautiful banana peppers on there. I'll be able to do something with those. All right, where do I want to set y'all? And I know this isn't a riveting video, but it's life on the homestead. And you can see where I've zip tied over here, and the only problem with that is that now I need to find a blade or a knife to get it unhooked. Or I could do that, just cheat a little bit, you know. But we are heading into my favorite time of year. I love October. I love when the weather starts to get cooler. I'm by no means ready for cold weather, but I'm a sucker for some good hoodie weather. All right. These moved over here. I don't know that I'll take the girls any of these weeds. I've been trying to pull up some of the Creepin' Charlie for them. They make pretty quick work of that when I bring those to them. It's funny, last night while I was working on that raised bed, I got a big handful of Creepin' Charlie, and I decided to take it and give some to the rabbits, the smallest ones in their grow out pen. And they were scared of it, y'all. They did not know what to think. They all ran to one side of the cage, and it was pretty entertaining. But I went away and left them to their own devices, and they ate some of it, but I ended up taking most of it out. And then Thumper here. Hi, Mama. What you doing? You munching? And here's one. Let me, while I'm over here, check on Little Bit. Okay, she's not done it. I came over here this morning, and she's been very, very feisty lately. Dirt on the camera. Charging at me, lunging at me whenever I open the cage to try to switch her water or food, anything like that. And she normally only gets that way when she's pregnant. You know, she gets very protective. And so I tolerate it. I can justify that behavior. You're protecting your babies. I came out this morning and she had gotten some of her hay kind of in one section. And I can't tell if she was just shedding or if it was where she was pulling fur, which she shouldn't be doing because I did not have a successful fall off when I attempted to breed her 2 breeding videos ago. So she should not be pregnant. There shouldn't be any way for her to be pregnant. But I'm keeping an eye on her because I have a suspicion that she might be. I don't know. She is a hairy rabbit, so it's possible that she was just shedding and it just so happened to be right there in that spot on the little clump of hay. But we'll see. We may have 3 does pregnant, which would not put us in a good spot because Dirk would have to build another hutch. But, all right, I'm back in the grocery store. All right, I've got a few ripe tomatoes that we're going to take down to the chickens, give them a little treat. And I need to check on their eggs anyway. I'm walking by you, rabbits. Don't freak out. Oats and Toopy are still broody, and I want to be a strict chicken mom and go ahead and put them in their isolation cages. I wouldn't be able to keep them together because Oats is not a nice hen when it comes to the other chickens. She's kind of a bully. But they're both so loud. I put them in the cage and they are so incredibly loud. Hi, ladies. You can kind of see on the ground the leftovers, remnants of all their weeds from yesterday. And I've got a lot of chickens that are not necessarily going into full molt, but a lot of feathers. I wish I was the creative type to be able to collect those feathers and make one of the like chicken wreaths or whatnot. Sounds great in theory, but I would end up collecting them and then just have a hoarded stash of feathers that I never did anything with. But I'm gonna set y'all right there. See an egg over here in the corner. And then we're gonna see if they've given me any other eggs. Hi, Toopy. Ooh. All right, sweetie. I know, baby. You weren't even sitting on an egg. What about you, Oats? Toopy. Come on, Oats. Put you right there. And if y'all wonder if you've not had broody chickens, well, A, I'm envious, but, got any under you? If you've not had any broody hens, the reason that I set them, when I take them out of the nesting box, the reason that I put them on the perch instead of just on the ground is because the first time I did that, okay, I have a pouch full of eggs. And it sounded like someone was here. But the reason that I don't just put the chickens right on the ground is because they'll just sit there in their broody kind of position, and then the other chickens tend to come in and peck at them and bully them. But if I put them there on the perch, it gives them enough time to kind of get their wits about them, and then they'll usually hop down and run out and get some food and drink before they go back in. That's another reason I like to get down there and take them out as often as I can during the day. But all right, I'm gonna set these eggs inside real quick. All right, we're back in the grocery store. I went ahead and tore down this tomato plant, got it out of there, roots still hanging on. I actually don't have that much time left before I need to start getting stuff ready to get down to the store. So I think I'm just gonna try and get some of this mint pulled up, and maybe some of these weeds over here. I was actually reading about, I was like, well, this should be fairly easy to pull up. And I was thinking about taking it down. I'm sorry, I'm seeing some type of flying insect that looks suspiciously like a wasp. Probably because it is. I want to stay away from that. But anyway, I was reading that, you know, mint added into a hen's daily diet can be really good for them. Yeah, look at that. I don't know if y'all can see him or not. He's some type of wasp. But just like anything else, too much of something can be too much. So I'm not going to throw all this mint down in there with them. But I do want to make some type of sense of this. Now, Dirk will come through and he'll end up weed eating down all the strawberries. But there's a lot of weeds mixed in with those strawberries, and I don't necessarily want those weeded down because I don't want the seed to spread for them to just grow out of control next year. Look at this, it's crazy. And I made the mistake of not picking up all my strawberry rocks before it got crazy out of control. And if you're wondering what these are for, well, at the beginning of the season, if you have strawberries, paint you some rocks. And before the strawberries start to ripen, put the rocks out so that birds will go after the rocks thinking that they're the strawberries. And then when your actual strawberries start to ripen, the likelihood of them messing with them significantly decreases because they're going to think they're rocks, or at least not edible. And it works like a charm with us for birds, especially considering, like, in the top of this shed, we get birds' nests up there all the time. He's tried to block it off, and those little critters, little rascals, find a way every single time to get in there. But anywho, they work great against the birds, not so much against the chipmunks. If you saw any of our videos earlier in the year, you know that we fought those bad when it came to the strawberries. And those little rascals would come over and take one bite out of a strawberry. One bite. Wouldn't even eat the whole thing. And if I caught it soon enough, I would eat the strawberry. I don't care. But a lot of times them doing that would cause it just to start to rot. No good. But I'm going to see if I can get some of these yanked. And then we'll probably call this good. Get my other glove on. And now, y'all, I don't want y'all thinking, oh, Mom, there's a Pris. She doesn't like to get her hands dirty. No, that's not it at all. It's just that after you get thorns and bristles from pigweed, hogweed, whatever that nasty stuff is called, reach in blindly and get a few of those in your fingers, and you'll start wearing gloves to weed pretty quickly. Goodness, these strawberries, y'all, have... I don't even know if I want to do this. And I don't think I do. Okay. These strawberries have gone crazy bananas. You can see, I mean, there were none of the strawberry plants stretched this side last year. And you can see they've stretched this way, and reaching down in here, strawberries, they vine right on top of the soil with their roots. And although obviously they're done for the year and Dirk's going to end up weeding all this down anyway, I don't want to just completely pull their roots out. So I don't think I'm going to dig into this section like I was going to. Yeah, I just don't think I'm going to do it. I don't want to risk our strawberry crop for next year. We had a big, huge empty space right in here this year, and Dirk planted some more. I guess I can come over here and... Oh my goodness, this is a mess, y'all. And we do have this raised bathtub here. Look at all that mullein. Look at it all. There's even my... Is that a tree? Yeah, it's growing everywhere. And I don't know why. I'm not complaining by any means, but the year before this, we had, I think, two mullein plants around the entire yard, and now they're everywhere. But we do have the tub here where we've been throwing weeds to kind of let them die. That used to be where we had our onions planted. And all these sunflowers that are in these raised beds, those are all volunteers. I can thank the birds for all those. I didn't plant a single one of them. But, yeah, this stuff is out of control. Next year, I said it this year about the tomatoes, my big tomato garden. It was my goal to stay on top of the weeds. And I did to a certain extent. And then I did end up putting down ground cover because it got to be a little bit too crazy. And y'all, there's nothing wrong with weeds. Well, to a certain extent. They did weed out, or the weeds outgrew all of our gourds that we planted in the actual field. So we lost an entire field of gourds due to the weeds. And what happened is that it started raining for a while and then just didn't stop for a few days, and I just got the little yellow warning. I think the camera's about to overheat. See that right there? That's where a strawberry... These leaves are what stick up right out of the earth, and then, I mean, that's the root system. It's just right in the dirt. So I'm gonna stop this project. I just don't want to destroy all the strawberries. But, and then now I forgot what I was talking about before I got distracted. Oh, y'all, you don't want to be in this mind, I guarantee you. But I know it wasn't a super thrilling, super eventful video, but I got to start at least some of the buckets torn down. And y'all, this Creepin' Charlie in here, honestly, because we have wood chips and ground cover under this, I'm a fan of Creepin' Charlie. I don't think it looks bad. And like I said, the chickens love it. It's easy to yank up if I want to yank it up, but I'd rather have that growing than other weeds like these guys right here that I just noticed. But that's the great thing about ground cover in the gardens. Yes, weeds still can come through that, but I mean, look how easy that pulled up. And we haven't had rain in a really long time, it seems. Y'all, our creek bed is dry, like dry. It's pretty bad. I've only seen it this dry one other time since we've lived here. Yesterday, I made the comment to somebody at the store that, wow, all the birds over in the other woods are super talkative. I mean, it sounded like there were hundreds of them. And I went to the edge of the creek to see if something was going on, if there was an animal that was freaking them out. And there wasn't, but that's when I noticed how dry the creek was. There was just this little puddle in one part of the creek, and there were probably 25, 30 birds jumping around in it, drinking, taking a bath. So pray for rain, y'all. We need it. We're supposed to be a 50% chance today, and we haven't gotten anything so far. And then I don't think there's any in the next 10-day forecast for us. But I know Dirk still wants to put up a lot of this stevia, so I'm not going to mess with it. He's going to end up dehydrating a bunch more. And then all these sunflowers, the sunflower heads, I'll end up just probably taking down to the chickens at some point. They're still getting, if you saw my short from a few days ago, the little bumblebee that I found sleeping on one of the sunflowers was so cute. But they are still getting some pollinators coming to them, so I'm not going to take them down just quite yet. But thanks for tagging along with me. I know this video is a little bit random, but again, you know, this is our life. We're not always working on super big projects every single day, and sometimes it's just getting in the garden and doing the chores that we put off, that we don't really want to do. But I'll probably bring you back in here in the next couple of days. Dirk's off the next 2 days, and we've got a lot of projects. I told him, I said, you know, it's been a while since we've both been able to just stay on the homestead and knock out projects and tasks without having 20 other errands to run. So we should get some good stuff knocked out in the next couple of days. Well, the camera overheated, so I guess that was its way of telling me to hurry up. Hurry up and stop talking. But thanks for liking, subscribing, commenting, tagging along for our everyday adventures. We've said it once, we've said it again. We're not planning on slowing down anytime soon. I could probably look around this homestead and see 100, 150 things that I want us to work on. And I'm sure Dirk's the same way with completely different projects. But it'll be a fun time. And we are glad to have y'all along on the adventure with us. But I'm going to end this now. And as always, friends, keep on keeping on. And we love you.